Hello and welcome to the Green Profit Academy Pros podcast. This show digs into the challenges in growing a lawn care and landscape business while maximizing your profit. I'm Christine Era.
And I'm Steve Bousquet. We are the green industry experts in profit, growth, and leadership. Good morning, everyone. Today we have a special guest. We have my son, Max Bousquet, who's going to be on today's podcast. Welcome to the show, Max.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to be asking Max some questions about what it was like growing up in a lawn care and landscape family, what it was like having a dad who ran a lawn care and landscape business, and then we'll go from there. He's going to share his insights and wisdoms with us, and we'll just take it where it goes. So, Max, what was it like having a dad who had a lawn care and landscape business? I know it's the only thing you ever knew.
I mean, yeah, I don't know anything different besides that, but, you worked very hard when I was younger. I mean, you still work very hard now, but, yeah, I mean, at least our yard always looked nice.
So, I worked hard, I worked long. So as a kid, was that something you're like, why is dad always away?
Yeah, but then again, it was normal, and mom made the best of it, so.
Yeah, mom kind of
did
a little bit of both.
Come home.
What's that?
I said I was always glad when you would come home finally.
Right. Yeah, it sounds better when you're leaning into the mic. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I was glad to come home too. Yeah, mom definitely had to do double duty, right? As dad, mom, taking you to the doctors and everywhere. So if there was something, if you said, "Hey, Dad, go back in time, do this," if that happened again, what would you have liked me to do back then that I wasn't doing, that you weren't even aware of when you were a kid?
I don't know, maybe brought me with you to show me what you were doing at work, because it was kind of a mystery to me.
Well, that's a good idea. That would have been fun.
Yeah.
Interesting. So one of the things that you shared with me before the show, you said something about you always wondered why I smelled funny.
Yeah, you'd come home and I'd give you a hug and you'd smell like some indescribable material, but now I know that it's malorganite and chicken manure, so.
Organic fertilizers,
Yeah.
right? What is that funny, funky smell that dad comes home, right, with the fertilizer and 2-cycle gas and, right, whichever chemical we were spraying at that period of time.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's your role now in the, you work in the business, the company business, the family business? What's your role and how did you end up there?
So I'm a lawn technician. I go out, I take a truck, I do fertilizer and control applications throughout the entire eastern side of our state. I started out working in the garage, helping my grandpa fix machinery, then transferred into being an assistant lawn tech, helping people load bags, do paperwork, put out signs, blow off driveways, and eventually I graduated to doing lawn technician work. It's good work. You work alone. You kind of set the pace yourself. If you really need to get the list done, you really hurry. But, if you don't have anything going on later, you can take as much time as you need.
Right. But I mean, you're pretty proficient in getting your list done. We have one of the most productive companies by square feet and revenue per day in the country. So you're definitely in that top tier of lawn techs. So, here at this company, maybe what we would consider taking our time might be rushing it for other companies, or it might, when we're rushing it, that might be looking like taking our time for other companies. So it's all perspective, but yeah, you definitely get your work done. And kind of one of your niches, small properties, lots of small properties.
Yeah, I'll do over, for soil tests, sometimes I'll do 55 soil tests in a day. For hose pulling or granular applications in a small area, I'll do 30 to 45 stops a day. With the small properties, that does sound like a lot, but it comes up to be maybe 220,000 square feet. So it's still a doable amount. It's just that you need to know the properties very well to be able to do them that fast.
Yeah. And we do have 3,500 customers, but one of the things that we really focus on is getting the production done by having the techs go to the properties they're familiar with. The techs, what do the techs think about that?
In my opinion, I think we all like it. It's nice to see the same faces and you kind of build a rapport with the customers. It makes them more comfortable with the service when they see the same guy every time. We can talk about issues from the past. We can talk about improvements that have been made. They really like it when you mention their new addition, their new deck. I think that it helps the techs and it also helps the customers feel like they're being listened to.
Nice. Yeah. I that's the feedback we're definitely getting. They definitely like seeing the techs and getting to know who's treating their property. That's for sure. And, the management and scheduling team, they do a great job of making sure that that happens and everybody gets it done on time. So, Max, you were also enrolled over the winter. We did a Change Your Question, Change Your Life workshop. And you were one of the participants in that. And basically, it's about creating a learner mindset through a being curious. What did you think about that course and what was a takeaway?
So I liked the course. I had known about the choice map for a couple of years beforehand, but this was my first really deep dive into the choice map and what it really means. It was a great learning experience, and I also learned a lot about my coworkers that also participated in the project.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that it kind of took a little mystery away from each other at work because we got to know certain people who we don't work with on a daily basis. We got to know them deeper, their thinking, and wasn't it interesting how we all kind of had similar challenges in
Yeah,
question thinking?
yeah, not too dissimilar.
Yeah, that was fun. So, what was a big takeaway for you from that class?
Really, that you just have to constantly remind yourself of the choice map. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the judger pit most of the time. You got to really be cognizant of how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way all day. Otherwise, it's very easy to slip into, a default mode of thinking.
Right. And has it been helpful since you've completed that course in March?
Yeah, I think so. Uh, that and the sales academy was very interesting, going over the Clifton strengths and analyzing the data.
Yeah, we also did we did a sales academy and we started with the choice map. We focused with the choice map and then we did the Clifton strengths, everyone's Clifton strengths. And we had a sales challenge that we had to share. And then everyone chose 3 out of their top 5 Clifton strengths to address the sales challenge and then came up with a action step and a time frame for it to be completed. And I know that was your first sales class training. I think it was a good exposure. What was your best takeaway from that class?
I got a lot to learn about sales. Yeah, like you said, that was the first course that I ever took on sales, and I don't really do sales. I have technically been responsible for people signing up, but it's mostly customers or curious individuals seeing me doing my application, and I talk to them about what I'm doing and what our program's like, and sometimes they'll end up signing up. So I guess I have sold a lawn or two, kind of, but never in a formal environment.
Right, right, and that is going to be part of your role in the future. At some point, we're going to start training you in that. So that was a good background. There was a lot of people in that class who had lots of sales experience. Right, people that had sold over 3,000 and 4,000 landscape jobs, and people that signed up, 5,000 and 6,000 lawn care customers over the past 30 years. So there was definitely a lot of experience, and there was some new people and some people that were just 1 year into the industry and selling. So that was a fun. That sales academy was fun to do, and the whole purpose and point of that sales academy wasn't to teach just tactics, but it was really figuring out what the mindset we need to have is in sales with that curiosity, that learner mindset. and then also how to use our own natural talent strengths to really step in and be a server salesperson for these customers, making sure that they get what they need, that we're understanding what they are looking for and what they want. And so we can provide that. And we also did a listening exercise, which was a lot of fun. What did you think of that?
That was fun. It's a lot more difficult than you would think it would be, as straightforward as it is, that you're just parroting these things back. But it shows you that it takes a lot of effort to really listen to somebody and have them feel heard.
Yeah. So the listening exercise, it's not mine. It's been used for probably decades, right? When someone talks, you parrot it back what they said. And it's interesting. The reason for that is because it helps us. If we have to pay attention to what they're saying, we can't be thinking about our response. We have to be listening to them. So we parrot back as closely as possible what they say. And then we ask them, is this what I'm hearing? Kind of the emotional melu, like read between the lines part. And then confirming that that's what they're committed to. And it does take practice. And it was fun watching people from the beginning of the class to the end of the class getting better and better.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So one of the things that I want to talk about is we mentioned it's a family business, right? So what is it like to work in a family business? Because you have two nephews, two cousins that are here. Your grandpa worked here before he retired. Dad works here. Mom's around.
I think that we have a pretty unique environment when it comes to my coworkers and just everybody who works at American Landscape and Lawn Science. I've only worked a few other places, so I don't really have much experience about what it's like in corporate America, but I did work at Target for a month and a half just doing seasonal work, and it was a vastly different environment than what I had experienced for most of my life here. Everybody at our company, they're all looking out for each other. We may, get into small arguments at times, but everybody is usually very, very nice and just looking after each other. All the techs, if they see somebody working on something back at the shop, they'll ask them, hey, do you need any help with this? Or, a lot of the guys I work with, I've known them for over 5 years, some of them over 10, some of them over 15 plus. So you build a rapport with these people, and they're, even if they're not technically part of the family, it feels like they are all part of one big family.
Yeah, it definitely does. And we try to really work on that family culture and taking care of each other in our safe and supported workplace. And so it's interesting when we do working interviews when we're hiring people, and Max often will get or has gotten the new person to work with him for a day. And it's crazy what they'll tell Max, even though they know that he's the son of the owner. The stuff they'll tell him, he'll call me up and tell me, Dad, this guy is not hireable. This is what he's telling me, some crazy stuff. It's pretty interesting. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they're sharing that stuff?
It's interesting. I don't know. Maybe perhaps I just have a way of getting people to tell me stories or not, but I think that it's just part of working together alone in a truck. It's either you're talking or you're sitting in silence. So I think that they would rather just talk. And yeah, sometimes I hear really interesting things like, oh, I hiked the entire Appalachian Trail. And then sometimes I hear things that I wouldn't really want to hear. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, hey, Dad, this guy's really cool, right? He walked the whole Appalachian Trail. He's not, he doesn't quit on things. He's got really tenacity and fortitude, and this is somebody we should really, bring into the company. So it goes both ways. It definitely goes both ways. But I still find it interesting how much information they'll tell you, because I've already done a phone interview, two in-person interviews, and then they're going out for the working interview. And I didn't typically hear any of that stuff. So that's pretty cool. Maybe I should ask better questions. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, take them on a working interview sometime.
Yeah, yeah. So you have the company, you grew up in the company kind of as a kid. You came to the shop, but you have other activities and interests outside of the business. What are some of those activities and interests?
I really like nature. Really anything to do. I love hiking, metal detecting, working on my old car. Um, yeah, there's a lot of time for hobbies in the down season, so it's nice to be able to just focus on things you like to enjoy after working so hard all year.
Yeah. And what about your chickens?
So yeah, I have a small coop outside with 4 adult hens, and I have 5 new chicks in the basement waiting to grow up to meet my hens out in the coop. It's a great hobby, and I have more eggs than I know what to do with. So it's not only good for me, but it's good for people that I know because they get free eggs.
Right. Yeah, and they are very, very, very good eggs. And what's another thing? I know that what's the disc frisbee golf or
Oh yeah,
something?
yeah, that kind of goes in hand with hiking. There's a lot of in this area. It's mostly all woods, so the disc golf courses are wooded trails, and it's a lot of fun. Just grab a few discs and go out there, and even if you bring somebody that's never disc golf before, I bet you they'll have a good time.
Yeah, it looks fun. I have to go at some point. So there was something that we were horrible as a family. Me, you, your sister, your mom, as a family vacation unit. You and your sister fought, and it was difficult. It wasn't very fun. So one of the things that I started doing was taking you and your sister independently on a summer vacation or vacations, just one on one, and I would let you guys choose. What kind of impact did that have on you?
I thought it was cool. It's nice to be able to spend just one-on-one time with you, and like you said, if you're on vacation with one of us, then the other one is spending more one-on-one time with mom too. So it's nice. I think it worked out for our situation.
Right. It definitely worked out much better. I think everybody was enjoying that type of time alone, and I would encourage people to do that. There is a lot of value in keeping everyone together, but there's also a lot of value in that one-on-one time. So if you were going to give, say I was a younger dad and I had, kids I was raising, plus I'm running my business, what would you say, hey, look out for this? Or what advice would you give someone who's a dad with a couple kids and running a lawn care and landscape business?
Well, I don't have any kids, so it might be just speculation, but everybody that I know that has kids say that they grow up very fast. So I know that we're running a lawn care business. You don't have a lot of time, extra time for anything ever, but definitely maybe try to find more time to spend with them while they're younger.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, just, because as a kid, like looking back, we tried to spend, unless it was snowing, I never worked Sundays when you guys were little. Later on, I ended up working Sundays for years. Um, but when you were very small, we would go up to Mohegan Park. We play poo sticks on that pretend poo stick bridge. I don't know if you even remember any of that.
No, I remember Mohegan Park.
Oh,
Yeah.
you do? All right. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd go get donuts and go up there and throw the sticks over and go to the other side. That was a lot of fun. So just from, what you would say definitely the kids grow up fast, which is cliche, but it's so true, right?
Yeah.
And I was just talking to my brother yesterday, and he's 4 years younger than me, but he's talking about his classmates that are retiring or looking for places to retire. I'm like, how did that happen? I remember when you guys were in high school. So it happens fast, and for the little kids it happens faster. So definitely spend some time when they're young. They want to spend time with you, because when they get to a certain age, they have their own friends, their own video games, their own life, their own cheerleading, basketball, sports, all kinds of different activities that they're growing up. So that's good advice.
Core Growth Strategies provides business growth management solutions through cloud accounting, bookkeeping, and strategic business consulting programs. Our team works with small businesses in lawn care and landscape and trade industries throughout the U.S. We increase our clients' business acumen by creating business performance transparency through financials and strategic advisement based on industry best practices and benchmarks. Our experienced team provides support, guidance, and coaching, thereby allowing our clients to connect with viable data and discover their own solutions. Core Growth Strategies programs and services are designed to get your business from where it is now to where you have always dreamed it to be. Visit us today at coregrowthstrategies.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Don't miss our exclusive limited time podcast special. Just mention promo code GPA Pro to any member of our team during your complimentary consultation, or enter the promo code on our site when you sign up for one of our online programs. That's promo code GPA Pro.
So what advice would you give to someone that was thinking about going into the lawn care and landscape industry?
As an employee or as a company owner?
As an employee.
It's hard work, but it's rewarding work. You get to see all of your hard work accumulate into something that's worthwhile. If you like being outside, it's nice. You get a little bit of a workout, so you might not have to pay for the gym if you're hose pulling for a month and a half.
Yeah,
it's a good gig.
Yeah, it is a good gig. A lot of people like it. It's definitely for a certain type of person. Someone that likes to be outside. Someone wants to be, not in the same place or location every day. Someone that likes to change the seasons and stuff like that. So I'll put you on the spot here now. So can you think of a funny story at work that you would want to share? It could be about you, another employee, could be about your dad. Something happened that was weird or funny.
Well, when you become comfortable with your coworkers at work, you goof around a little bit. It'll make the mood a little bit lighter. And one of my coworkers had, I think, flipped my hat off of my head on the way out of the office one day. And I had a water bottle. We take water bottles and we bring them to make sure we're hydrated. So I had a water bottle, and I just threw it at him lightly, and it hit him in the rear, and the water bottle exploded, covering his pants in water. And the landscape foreman was there watching, and he just about died laughing. So they're a very funny moment.
Yeah, it is lighthearted. That's funny though, because you could have probably done that 100 times and not had the same.
I have no idea how the water bottle exploded like that. It ripped open instantly like a water balloon.
It was just meant to explode. Well, that's funny. Yeah, there are some funny stories and funny things that happen. We do have some lighthearted people on our team, and they're always putting, like, I don't know where they find them, stuffed animals in places and clown mask, and you big rubber rats. You just don't know what you're going to walk into. And it's always where you least expect it. That's always funny. So what's your favorite part of the job that you have now? What would you like to be doing in 5 years from now?
I'd say my favorite part about my job is the working alone is it can be kind of a double-edged sword. It can be very nice because you don't have to match the pace of another person, and you don't have to either worry that you're slowing them down or that they're slowing you down. All the work you're doing, you're responsible for. So no one's going to mess anything up for you. Any mistake that you made is yours. So it's very easy to be accountable for mistakes. I'd say, definitely just not really having to work with anybody is probably my favorite.
Okay. And how about 5 years from now? What would you like to be doing, or what would you? I know that you're going for your supervisory license.
Yeah, so I'm working on trying to get my supervisory license just so we have more people in the company that have that license. Probably moving more into some sales work, but I know that we'll always need extra techs hanging around, so I'll probably be doing lawn applications for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, round 2 and round 4, definitely we need all hands on deck, right? Okay. And then, so you're in our 1,000-day development program, right? In the company, you've done the change your question, change your life. You've done the Clifton Strength test. And then, but next is find your why and a coaching class. What do you think about that development program?
I think it's nice. I think it's a lot more than other employers offer their employees. And I've seen my other coworkers share the same sentiment about how they've never worked anywhere where the company's also working on them as much as they're working on the company.
Yeah, they do appreciate that. And one of the things, I tell people is, I don't want you to be the same person next year that you are today, right? We want you to become more. And that's part of our mission and purpose is to make people have mutually fulfilling relationships where we're both becoming more. Um, and I know you brought Will into the company. He's a friend of yours, and I know other people. I don't, they bring people in. I don't know if we have more than one person in the entire working field that came from a help wanted ad. They all came from word of mouth or from other people on the team. So, the whole country is having a struggle. It's not just lawn care and landscape, it's every single industry. But what would stop somebody from wanting to work in the lawn care and landscape industry?
It's tough work. Not everybody's cut out for it. Like, if you excel in a office environment, you might not be the happiest working outside for 12 hours when it's 100 degrees out. But yeah,
So just the heat is not. So some people ask me, what's the benefits? They don't have benefits. Is the benefits what's stopping people from working?
yeah. I mean, people get spoiled here with EB. EB, if EB wasn't here, we'd have no problem getting employees.
All right. So EB is a big uh, employer by us, and they have a lot of different benefits. They build nuclear powered submarines, and they're a great employer, and they support the community. But so what would attract people to say, hey, I have to go work in that at the lawn and landscape industry anywhere across America?
Yeah, I would just say maybe a good working environment. A boss who's not a dickhead
Yeah.
it really helps out.
Yep.
I would say maybe benefits, but I know that that's not an option for a lot of smaller companies. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure really.
Right.
I mean,
So, like, what benefits? I know we let people borrow a car if they have a car that's broken. We help people buy tires. We have PT days and paid holidays. We have, a couple parties, 1,000-day development. What else could we add? What else could we add to our company where people would say, "Oh man, I have to go work there"?
I know for a lot of people, health insurance is a big one. Health insurance is very expensive, and if you offer it, it's one less thing for them to have to worry about.
Right. Because we can't afford to offer it, we're partnered with an insurance, I guess, coach or something, and they have helped people find more reasonable types of insurance. And in Connecticut, we have a process or product called Husky, and it's a state subsidized. So they help people fill out all the form work to get the most subsidized. But there's still a big copay, and you know, uh, they have to pay the other whatever the $5,000 or $6,000 a person. So that is a big bullet. for a lot of people. So the medical, what else would be good to have?
Well, I know that the off time in the winter is an attractive thing for a lot of people. I know I look forward to it every year because it gives me a lot of time to decompress from the season and allows me to work on things in my life that I just couldn't allot any time for while I was working.
So the off time in the winter for the lawn techs, it's a benefit. It's considered a good thing then.
I would highly agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of time to spend with your loved ones, to, fix a few things around the house, to maybe just take it a little slower than you normally would.
All right. Great. And we have uniforms, we have free coffee and water, and we have trucks that run pretty well. Mostly, we try to keep our fleet up really well. I think we do really well at it, but sometimes there's weird things that happen. What's some of the biggest frustrations at work in lawn care and landscape businesses?
The weather, that is a huge one. I mean, it'll make or break your day. If you have a beautiful 75-degree sunny day, it can really help everything go really smooth. But whereas if you have a bit of rain during the day, it can kind of clog up some of the material and make the equipment not work as well, or just not drive as well. Some lawns you can't treat with the rain because you get standing water.
Yeah.
The fact that you are kind of working away from all of the main office is you need to really make sure you have everything you need. Otherwise, you could run into some issues there, definitely. So that leads to frustration. Equipment malfunction, that'll really ruin your day if you're trying to get everything done nice and smoothly. Tire pops, it's 1,000 things that could go wrong with those machines, but luckily we have a pretty good support staff, so if anything goes wrong, we call them up, we get our mechanic to come out, and he fixes this up.
Yeah,
So,
it is a big game changer to have a mechanic. I mean, my dad, your grandpa, he was our mechanic part-time for about 20, 25 hours a week for 25 years. And then he left. We had someone come on and join us, Ken. He's been a huge asset, a big help all the time. So that does make a big deal. So weather's frustrating. Breaking equipment is frustrating. Yeah, that can be very, very frustrating. And, for years, I used to work during the day, fix equipment, repair it, maintain it at night, on the weekends. And it does help that, now we have the resources where we can have someone on our team do that. That helps quite a bit. So if you were going to look back, and if you had to tell your 5 or 10-year-old Max something today, what would you tell him?
buy Bitcoin.
But buy Bitcoin. And as much as you can, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Definitely. But I don't know, as an anxious kid, I would probably just tell me to calm down a little bit, not take everything so seriously.
Okay, so you took a lot of things seriously. Yep.
Yeah.
So just calm down, chill out. Yep.
Yeah.
And so you went to high school, then you went to community college. Now you're working, and you're going to get into a little bit more into sales, and you're going to get your supervisory exam. And then you're part of our 20-something group in the company. We have our 20-something, our 40-something, and then our 50-something group. So I think there's a pretty strong 20-something group. You, Brody, Will, Connor, Sage, on that are helping build this company up. Are you a millennial, or are you a baby millennial?
I think I'm the last year. 96 is, I think, the last year of the millennials. I'm not.
All right.
I think I'm kind of in a little bit of a same thing with you, how you were the last
Yeah,
year.
I'm the last year of the baby boomers, Gen X. So people say millennials don't want to work, everything. What do you say to that?
I think a lot of people who are saying that are obviously not millennials, and they grew up in a very different time period where buy a house for 90 grand. Things were just a lot different. So it's hard for them to put themselves in the shoes of the people that are growing up in the economy that we have now. But it's also difficult for us to be looking back, and things may have looked a lot easier back then, but perhaps they weren't as easy as they look to us now. So,
Right. Yeah, Gen Z. But my 20s somethings, my Gen Zs or baby or no, they would be baby millennials. They show up and work. I mean, they get their jobs done, and they're always innovative. They want to give input. They want to be creative to solve situations and challenges. So one of the things that is interesting, so we have very good success with millennials and Gen Zs, right? Do you think, and you can say it has nothing to do with it or does, because we're result driven. We're not we're not micromanaging people. We need people who already can kind of think for themselves. And we don't, manage people to the micron. Do you think that makes a difference?
yeah, I mean, it kind of, if you're not like helicopter parenting your employees, it definitely gives them a sense of responsibility, and allows them to take pride in their work, I think, more than if they were being constantly either monitored or questioned on their, work
Yep.
ethic. So,
Yep. And I mean, it's okay to mess up and fail here and make mistakes, and it's just part of the job. What do people think? What do people think about that in the company?
I think it takes a little bit of time to get used to the fact that you're not going to get in trouble if you mess up if you tell your boss right away. The only way that you're going to get in trouble is if you try to cover that mistake up, because we always want to be one step ahead of a problem. We want to be thinking of solutions before, ideally, come up with a solution before whoever it affected even knows that it happened.
Yeah.
So it's just important that if you make a mistake, it's okay. You just need to let somebody know that can try to remedy the situation as fast as possible.
Right. Because most likely the person you're going to let know has also made that mistake, and they know the best way
Yeah.
to coach around that. Absolutely. Well, that's super. Is there any favorite saying that the company has, or you've heard me say that resonates with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's hanging up right on your wall above you. It says, slow is fast. So, I
It
mean,
is hanging up my wall. Yep.
and I think that is definitely very true. If you're trying to go fast and you mess up, and that might be an hour, 2 hours you just added to your day to try to fix something that you messed up while you were trying to rush. So if you don't rush and you just get everything done properly, that is faster than rushing, fucking it up, and then having to redo it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Slow is fast. It's a big saying in our company, and doing it right the first time, or doing it mostly right and going back and fixing fewer things, is much faster than and then messing up and going back and having to fix half of it, or not ever finishing it. So slow is fast. I'm glad you shared that. Yep. That's a big part of our company culture, is taking the time to do things right. Well, hey, Max, I want to thank you for taking your time today. And I know it was a day off for you, and I appreciate that. So if there's any parting words of wisdom, share them now.
Well, thanks for having me on. It was nice to be able to talk to all the people that listen to your podcast. I hope that they can derive something from what I've said, maybe learned a little bit or a different perspective. But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and we look forward to you joining us on the next podcast. Thanks for listening to the Green Profit Academy Pros Podcast.
the show that digs into the challenges of growing a lawn care and landscape business while maximizing your profit.